So I have a request. That took about 12 seconds from opening up the camera to being offered the red dot, which is what you get on my Android, what I get on my Android. So does anybody know why that's happening? It's a little bit irritating. It's 5 in the morning in Great Britain. Did I lie? I can't read that because I haven't got my glasses. I'm going to change this channel from trying to be sycophantic. My girlfriend says that she won't endorse me, and the implication is that that would lead to the 1,000 subscriptions I need in order to make any money from it. I don't think that's going to happen, but so I'm not allowed to say anything that I think, which is pointless, so I'm not going to do that. And it occurred to me, all I was going to say, right, is this is a good idea. Well, I don't know why that thing's upside down on my soon-to-be ex-washing machine, which did work at one stage. It did a couple of washes. I don't know that I can be bothered with washing machines. Anyway, I mean, there's an argument for just putting clothes in warmish hot water and using the old DAS. I quite like the old-fashioned connotations rather than having bingo or whatever it is called now. Don't know what's happening with the wall there. It's always been damp like that. This used to be the external wall, and then this was put down. This is the that was the privy in there, and there's a toilet. It doesn't work because of the sewer, but it's an outside toilet with no door, so I put a curtain on it so that I could heat it up. So it is reasonably well thought out. So yeah, this washing machine, I think you can just have a nice tub of hot water and just put your smalls in, and the trousers don't really get smelly, do they? That's why you have underpants. That's why I always asked my mum when I was 6, why do we have to have underpants? So you can change them, and all the horrible goo that comes off your genitals can be washed off, and you don't have to wash your trousers every 2 days. And so we don't wash our trousers, okay? Be logical, stop being gay. That's in inverted commas, you're not allowed to use that word anymore. But stop being over fussy, which brings me to my main subject, which is that I think, and I have always thought, no, not always, since about 2010, I came to the conclusion that the secret to life was a dynamic, or what we used to call in physics, a dynamic equilibrium, where the wife or the female side of the family, and I'm being sexist here because I'm assuming that female characteristics are different to those of men, has an urge to get everything spotless, not take any risks, and believe all salesmen and all builders. That's my experience anyway. So shoot me in the comments, complain, hate, do all those things, and boost my profile. I don't know. Those are my findings. And so we had a dynamic where I would say, look, okay, I don't actually think that quotation of £14,000 is necessary. I mean, I don't, I could do it myself in the evenings because I don't really like TV. I could put in 2 hours and eat 2 hours a day for 3 months, and we could have it done for free. What about that, darling? No, you won't do it right. You'd a big argument, blah, 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 all that stuff. Because Joe down the street, the local bloke, salt of the earth that you absolutely swoon about, does it. But I'm not allowed to do the same. Anyway, that, and that. So don't go on about your marriage. No, that's just an example. But also the dynamic is between being thrifty and economic and being super clean and taking risks. And if you get a good relationship, then, the man will say, okay, yes, I realise that would be a mess like this place is. And it would be awful for you to live in. And then the woman compromises and says, okay, yes, I'll let you take a risk and I will take a slight dip in quality so that we can afford a car as well, sort of thing. And you won't have to go, and get divorced and then rely on the state, which is exactly what they want, and spend masses of money and waste it all and give it to the corporations. But that's just my view. That's not what I was going to say. My original thought was, oh, this is a good idea. I know this is all old overalls, but I just chucked it upside down, and it makes a perfect thing for wedging these things. Wedge is a word. It gets very damp in there, by the way. Don't look at that. That's the embankment. That's actually the railway embankment there. Actually, that masonry there, and they've roofed it in onto the embankment, which doesn't really work. And there's no guttering, so it all comes pouring back in. But I'll adjust that. I'll adapt it. Well, I'll get around to it. What I was going to say is, when I was working as a slave on a building site, they used to say, "Get angry with it." And that's brilliant. You do, as a bloke, you need to. I got angry with everything this morning because I kept knocking things and the phone wasn't charging, and so I said, right then, okay, we are very pedantic. I want to pick this up. I don't want to pull that cable and that bit of material. I want this moved to there. Is that too much to ask? I'm angry with things and situations, and I'm always ticked off for raising my voice, but I need to do it rather to get through it, because I get clumsy. And once people get used to me raising my voice a bit, we're not, I don't know, the world is a sort of corporate, oh, hello. You work in an office, you can't swear, you can't raise your voice, you can't lose your temper. What's that about? Anyway, I also know that New Guinea, the women live separately to the men. What a misogynist this man is. But isn't that a good idea if men want to raise their voices and go, ha, like that, every now and then, or clap loudly, mentioning no names, because they're happy, or whoop, because they're happy. If it doesn't suit women, then live separately. Know what I mean? There we are. Or maybe get acclimatized to it. I don't know. I think the world has become too feminized, dominant. It's a bit like a sort of 12-year-old child who's got the run of the house because she's getting her own way. She's getting spoiled. And in fact, that is happening. I think people would admit that. Spoilt children, because and that's another dynamic. The wife, or no, not necessarily. It's often the husband that wants to spoil the daughter, and the wife doesn't. And you have a compromise. You have a dynamic. Life isn't ideal. Ideal, you deal, we'll deal. Ich dien means I serve. Quantropri means as much as I can, but I don't serve. What's ich dien? That was on the coins, wasn't it? I don't think that we're going to be doing that anymore. I watched a thing of 8 out of 10 cats last night. It's just the only thing I could find, and I fell asleep. And I like that Melanie Sporting Spice. I think she's. I always have done. I preferred her. I like Scary Spice as well. I like a woman with a solid voice. That doesn't make me a fag. I don't think. It makes me want to have children instinctively with a woman who can fucking stand up for herself. What's wrong with that? I've gone all Yorkshire. And anyway, they were all ranting and raving during the time in which Sean Locke, one of my favourite comedians, and I remember the first time I ever saw him on the television when I was watching when I lived in 276B King Street, Hammersmith, Mr. Jericho's flat, and we were subletting to Kiwis. I digress. What was I talking about? Where's the coffee? Sorry. I've forgotten what I was saying. Hang on a minute. Oh yeah, these comedians, Sean Locke, and I remember clearly his opening monologue. This is just proof of what a good judge of character I am. Smug me. I spotted him, and I noted him. There's another bloke I spotted from those days of the Tube and Thingybob. I can't remember his name. It was 35 years ago or so. He did a skit where he used all the obscenities around, or used euphemisms for rude things. Like, I don't know, he's reamed out a whole list of sentences. I don't use these words. Do you? He's a Latino. Oh, I can't remember his name. Adebayo. Anyway, Sean Locke came on and he did his famous skit, which nobody remembers, and please answer in the comments if you're, especially you Australians. Big shout out to all my Australian viewers, 3 of you. He did a thing about boots. It was just a stupid throwaway comment. He said, "I was going to Boots." He said, well, "Oh, sorry, I have to say it loud because they write it loud. It's massive letters." I just thought that was silly and funny. I just remembered that one. So Sean Locke, yeah, he's dead. When they were talking about what they were moaning about how politicians are just rubbish and useless and getting worse, and that we need a revolution, and and this was when Sean Locke was. This must have been pre-lockdown and stuff. And also on it was the same one, was that lovely girl from the Fresh Meat programme with Jack Whitehall is the main character, and he's a cad. And there's the other girl's called Oregon, and the actress on there. What is it? What is it about her that's so lovely with her dimples? And I don't know, it's like she's raised to be the elder daughter and she's trying not to be. I think that's it. And probably, as she said on this actual episode, is she had tried to. So she had tried to disguise her poshness and talk a bit like that, which is what I did when I was 19 and working on the building site. I didn't want to say, "Hello, where do I put this joist, if you don't mind?" Fucking Lord, what's it? They wouldn't answer you. So anyway, this girl must have been playing herself. The writers must have been, I think they did this with friends. They looked at the characters of the actors and they wrote stuff to suit. So when turns out that she wasn't called Arrogant. She was more likely to be Catherine Arrogant. She wasn't called Oregon. She was called Lindsay or something. Lindsay's not posh, but Amanda or something. I can't remember what a posh name is. So the point of this video is that's a reference to the Rowan Atkinson sketch. Look, I need to crack on. Will you just leave me alone? Stop getting in my head, you people. Look, now look here. I don't know. I'm just offloading, actually. I don't care about subscriptions. Subscribe and like. Anyway, happy Thursday. Hope you're not too cold. And if you are, get electrical storage heaters. That I went to an estate agent. Not that I've got loads of money in buying land, but I know somebody who is. And they had electrical storage heaters still installed. There was a fashion for throwing them out. We mustn't follow fashion, because now you're going to have to pay somebody to replace your whatever you've got instead of your electric storage heaters. I suppose everyone got rid of them when electricity was cheap and there was no point doing it, but they were so warm. They were chucking out heat. They have these massive, great, dense ceramic bricks inside them that heat up in the night. And then in fact, the man who, I am really rambling now, but there's a similar design now you can get for an actual boiler. It doesn't boil, but it's a heating system, and it rather than just have individual storage heaters throughout the house, it's one massive lump of thermal inertia in a boiler, quote unquote. It doesn't boil anything, but it's equivalent to a boiler in that your hot water radiators from the hot water from the radiators is pumped around the system in exactly the same way as it does when you have a central heating system. It runs the central heating system. And the man from Del Monte, he said no, the man who played the bloke, the robot in Red Dwarf, who was called, answers in the comments below please, him, Llewellyn, who's now runs the Fully Charged show and everything electric, etc. He's got one, and they've asked him money because he's massively rich, because he's got loads of subscribers and he's got staff now. He's a rather nice presenter. I think she's going to take over from him. He hasn't got the personality to deal with her. She's got proper chutzpah. That's my own personal feeling anyway, but that's fine. He wants to take a back seat. All he has to do is just sign the corporate thing. Right, morning everyone. Yeah, happy Thursday, and don't get too cold. Get some storage heaters or small fan heaters. I think quite economic. Just heat yourself, and until you've got 18 layers on, and then you're fine. Is one idea. Don't heat the space you're not using. Very practical, right? no, I won't live like that. Get a low ceiling. If your ceiling is high, fill it with something like a mezzanine floor to put your crap. You need only 1 foot above your head to feel safe, and you feel lovely and cosy. There we are, lots of ideas. It's a bit early, so I better crack on. I need to make, oh, I've made coffee. There's some sort of animal in the background. Bless them. That reminds me, actually. Oh, so much to do. Right, tutty bye.